What's good, everybody? We are back. It is your boy Jarod and your girl Gabby, episode 74 of the Kicks and Shit Show. Bah, 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 bah. Yep.
You know what I'm going to say, right, Jim?
I know. Yeah. You were like...
Every week lately in the
Yeah.
70s, I think we're having senior moments now that we're in our 70s, you guys. Jarod's like, I'm going to stop making that sound. And then here we are, and then it's amnesia.
I only said it once. I didn't say I was going to do it ever. I said it once, and then I just forgot to do it. So now we're back on our jam, whatever.
Back like we never left, right, Jay?
Exactly. We'll see how I decide to flip it up later on as we go. Got to keep you off your toes, or keep you off your toes. That's the way that saying goes. Anyway,
gotta get those feet in the streets, Jay. You know what I'm saying?
Feet in the streets. Well, first question, of course, as always, where in the world is Gabby Rosenthal?
Well, Jarod, I'm glad that you asked. I'm in Vegas this week, here for a work conference next week in the automotive space. Very excited, and then we'll be heading to Complex Con. So. It's the year of the con, my friend. Now that things are kind of opening up a little bit.
The year of the con, as in you're going to try to rob people, or
no? Meaning I had Comic Con, and then
I know I'm teasing.
Con, and then your girl's headed to Complex Con.
I know.
Not conning people in these streets, my friend.
The year of cons. How can I con people? It's like no, we don't want to do that. We don't subscribe to that type of behavior on this program.
It's a family show.
Is it? This is a family show. Well, Gabby, in these streets, lots of things happening. We know that by the time this episode airs, it will already be out. But the Jordan 3 in Pine Green will be out this weekend. And I saw our good friend Sneaker Fetish posted something on Instagram where he was basically just like, I'm ready for Nike and Jordan Brand to start putting out shoes that have stories behind them and not necessarily just... Here's a new colorway, and that is something that you, of course, have been talking about for a long time, and I agree. Like, are you really at the point now where you're kind of like with a lot of these releases where you're just like, I don't even care. Like, it's just a colorway, because your big thing is why, and you're like, why? What? And don't just tell me, because it's Christmas season. That's why I'm going pine green. Like,
and where's my blue for Hanukkah? Then that's what I say to you, Jarod. Where is my red and yellow for Kwanzaa? All right, like where? If we're gonna do that, like let's do it. I don't know. I think it's a few things for me, right? I think there's been some recent coverage and articles that are from our friends at Complex about that a select few people have maybe had some issues with the interface of the sneakers app. I love the choice wording on that one because I feel like majority might rule on that one.
But you mean like everyone, right?
Yeah, and I feel like there's no consistency, right? We talk to our guests all the time about like, here's the tricks, try this device, try this. If you're new, if you're not, like,
right.
I feel like my grandma even has a sneakers app and hasn't hit yet. Like it depends. Yeah, Grandma Charlotte's with it, let me tell you. But I think it just depends for me. And because there hasn't been as much in the creativity and the storytelling, it kind of like turns me away. I'm like, let me go for the pairs that like I really wanted, right? Like, I love royal blue, Nick's blue, as you know. So let me focus on pairs that fit under that. Or, the chocolate milks are not crazy on resale right now. Maybe I'll get a pair of those. Or the wave runners aren't crazy either. Let me get a second pair. So I've kind of shifted my focus. And I think like we've talked about this a little bit too. This kind of new collab model where it's like the three-way collab where I just feel like knowing that it's so hard to get things, and Nike and Jordan Brand have been a powerhouse churning out launches more so than ever before. It's like too much is too much sometimes. And I think again, I mentioned these three-way collabs where like you slap a logo on it and it's a collab, but it looks like everything else. Like what is the extra value that is coming? And don't get me wrong, there's some that I'm like, this is a dope colorway, I'm going to go for it.
Right.
And shouts to Nike and Jordan Brand for always looking at new ways. I mean, it's the marketing and sales cog, right? Like we're just a cog in the wheel. And I think they're brilliant at what they do. Like there's a reason that the price of sneakers keeps going up. And that's even if you're lucky to get them. But the at retail, the price point is going up to like the average of $200 a pair now. So it's showing that there's a need and a demand, but they're speaking to a different audience, right? And I know we've talked about this before about resellers now are going after anything that has a draw or an enter to win, even if it's a high pair. Like 1985 Dunks and that yellow acid wash, I should have been able to get those.
Yeah.
There was nothing crazy around it. I thought like the heritage was really cool. They were a neat looking shoe. they're sitting, what, $20 above retail on the resale sites right now. Like, bruh, y'all aren't making a profit, my friend, for the amount of bots and effort that you're putting into that.
Bruh.
I mean, Jersey girl, you know what I'm saying? But I just think that the game for me has changed a little bit, and I know this is true of a lot of, like, the OG sneaker enthusiasts. I mean, that's why people are getting into more of other collectibles. I think that's why
arts are booming.
Hats are popping off. The sock game is a thing that it wasn't before in the same way, right? Like, people are looking at those other avenues that they feel like they can come to play in, and maybe ones that are a little bit more budget friendly. I mean, I think, like, collecting sneakers is amazing. I'm not stopping that anytime soon. I'm just focusing my efforts. But I'd love to know your thoughts, Jay.
I am with you on that. Look, I know that, you know, Nike did a little, like, a Halloween pack with the Air Force One and the Presto, and, like, if you're into Halloween, that's kind of cool, right? It's like I see somebody being like, ooh, let me jump on that. Halloween, not exactly my favorite holiday, so not really my jam. For me, though, mainly it's like what we always talk about with our guests, right? Which is just going to the sneaker store and being like, ooh, I kind of like these. They're kind of fresh. Let me try to cop those. And moving outside of, you know, Jordan 3s and, like, favorite silhouettes and going to New Balances and some of the other things, right? Or even just going back and getting more classics, right? Another pair of Puma low suedes in a different color, right? Just because I like those, right? I just think more and more of that and less of the, ooh, the Billie Eilish Jordan 15. And it's like, nah, I'm not coming at Billie Eilish. I'm just saying that as one of the shoes that I know is coming out, right? Like, it's, I'm going to go with something that really working for me that I like, right? Well, what about the Yeezy foam runners? It's like, nah, not really my bag. You know what I mean? Like, I'm good on that.
And that's okay. I think the brands across the board need to be better about not just adding in a colorway, right? Like, I know Puma doesn't get talked about as much, but some of their, like, collabs are super unique, and I like the way that they're doing different things, and even the way that Adidas's Star Wars collab, which I felt like was really under the radar.
Yep.
I'm not, like, a crazy Star Wars person, but, like, I thought the detail and the thought that was into that, I'm like, I need that. Like, that's really dope. Like, the storytelling is there, and it doesn't always just feel like a marketing play, right?
Yes.
And I think, don't get me wrong, if there's a fire colorway, even if there's not a major
right.
Y
You'll
that
get
goes
it.
along
Yeah.
with it, I'm going to go for it, of course. And, like, anyone who says otherwise, like, stop playing, y'all. It's okay, but it's okay, right?
Yeah.
I like blue sneakers, so, like, I don't care if the sneaker is blue because it's blue because, like, Devil Wears Prada. Like, I told you to wear that cerulean blue, and here we are in a sweater 2 years later. Like, yeah, you're right. I felt accustomed to that marketing scheme, and yeah, give me that blue shoe, please, preferably at retail. But I don't know. It's a weird time right now for sneakers.
How often does Devil Wears Prada come up in this show? Like, I feel like pretty.
You and I, like, way too often. Like, florals for spring, groundbreaking. That applies to everything in life. Everything.
Not fabulous yet.
Not yet. What I do think is interesting, though, is I would love to, like, maybe we can dive in on some of the numbers around the Nike app versus the sneakers app. Because one thing that I've noticed is that a lot of these restocks now aren't just exclusive to sneakers, that they're happening on the Nike app. Never before, or not frequently at least, have we been able to get, like, a silver toe one restock that's, like, driving you there. And I think that's really interesting to see if they can piggyback on that halo effect, knowing that no one can get their hands on sneakers on sneaker apps. So it's not like I'm staying there and scrolling through other stuff. I think it's kind of brilliant, actually, to look at it from that model because, hey, I'm already on the Nike app. They're getting my data from sneakers and feeding me things that I might want or that I might need. I'd love to see kind of how this develops and if Nike continues that model. I think across platforms within their apps, but also across devices. Like, I got an alert the other day on my iPad version of the sneakers app that was like, oh, this is in your market, but didn't get the same alert on my phone. So maybe that's what it is. I should have been on my app the whole time on my iPad.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there. I did see that as well on the Nike app. You go in there and you're like, ooh, look at these, like, J's that are coming out that are cool that I might want to get. So I do like that. Speaking of releases, I know there's another Yeezy Boost 350, the version 2, which is, of course, the popular silhouette, which is a silhouette that I like a lot. Like, and I think, I'm not unique in that. A lot of people like that silhouette.
But it's a comfortable shoe, too. In addition to it being a nice silhouette.
It is very comfortable. Another colorway is coming out in that, the new MX Rock colorway, right? And it's got this cool, like, rainbowy looking, and I'm like, you know me, I don't like, too much color, and I'm like,
You can rock those, Shane.
But those, because you know what it is? the color pattern is not like super loud and in your face. Like it's multi. You see blue, you see orange, you see yellow, but it isn't like, oh my god, like neon and fucking like jumping off the page. Like Jesus Christ, like put those things away, please. Like, you know, with the right fit, those are nice. So, and it's a nice, like, I love it because it's a little bit lighter.
Birthday kind of vibe, Jarod.
Could be,
I don't know if anyone has a birthday coming up on this.
Perhaps I do. Perhaps I do. So anyway, that's just something that's out there that I think, oh, might be nice to make a play for. But in general, you know, I'm just looking out for what I like and moving on from there. But folks, stay tuned because coming up next is our guest, someone from the world of the NFL. And we're super excited to have him on, so stay tuned. Peace. What's good, y'all? We are back, and Gabby, we're not alone. We are joined by former football player, current New York Giants television host with our good friend Madeline Burke, Brandon London. How are you, sir?
Hey, you forgot overall good guy.
Yeah, Jarod, way to go.
Business card, you know.
I like it. Overall good guy. No, thank you for being here. We are excited. So, you know, obviously as people who grew up in New York, Giants fans, it's great having you around. We're going to get into your journey with football as well. But how are you, man? How you doing? What's going on in these streets? I mean, I know the Giants aren't doing great right now, but, you know.
You know, they're not, not hot right now. You know, it kind of started, kind of behind like they have. But honestly, it feels kind of different this year in the sense being in the facility and all. You still see guys at practice. You still see high energy at practice. The music still going. I've learned who Pooh Shiesty was at practice. It's crazy, being around the players and stuff. Because me being 37 now and being a former Giant, I feel like that old head. But at the same time, some of them, when I do the interviews with them, I'm still feel young enough to relate and all. So it's cool. Football is great, and I got some a great gig that I'm going to be announcing pretty soon. We ain't signed them papers yet, so I can't say anything. But, I just love being back in New York.
And you know that, right? It's like you ain't saying nothing until pen to paper till it's official.
I ain't saying it. Damn thing. I call my mama and say, "Mama, it's official." Then I'll make that Instagram post. After I call my mama, it's official.
Well, we're excited, and we know that people who follow you are going to be excited to see that when that comes out. So let's talk, man, about your football journey. Obviously, we know you were part of the Giants squad. You played for the Dolphins and the Steelers, if I'm not mistaken, as well as you played in the CFL. But where it all began, man, where'd that love for football come from?
I like to tell people as a coach's kid, I came out the womb with a football, man. Came out the womb, Tiki Barber high and tight, It was something. Like I said, my dad's head football coach currently for William & Mary University. My brother is the receivers coach there. My sister is an animal in women's professional football in the NFC for the Denver Bandits. So football is life in our family. But I got to give props to my mom because I got to grow up, seeing my mom, screenwriter, playwriter. She's got a domestic awareness documentary coming out right now. She's wrote a book. So that's how that kind of cultured athlete world emerged. And I didn't even know about it as a kid. I just love football so much. That's all I thought about. But in the fourth grade, I got a chance to do a play. And I absolutely loved it, but at the same time, you as a football player, you think you got to lock in, you got to go. Like I kind of had a one-track mind when it came to it. So, I went to I wasn't highly recruited because I bounced around from school to school as a coach's kid, 8 schools in 12 years. Went to 2 different high schools, went to a prep school, went to UMass. Shout out to UMass Minutemen. Then, undrafted free agent with the Giants. I was on their practice squad. When we made the Super Bowl, but they knew there was something about me, and it's just funny how life comes full circle, showing all that personality and all. And then the next year I balled out in training camp, and then I actually played for the Miami Dolphins. So I don't understand why I don't do TV for the Miami Dolphins for the Giants. But everything comes full circle. Try to make a team with the Steelers. It didn't work out there. Shout out to Mike Tomlin. And then I went to Canada, won a Grey Cup up there. And in 2012, I'm up there. I'm balling up there. I'm averaging 19.9 yards per catch. I think I had like 46 catches, only 3 drops. I'm up on the ESPNs. What their ESPN is called TSN up there. I'm on their top 10 sports highlights. I'm out there. I stole the word wavy from Max B from being in New York. Shout out to Max. Max comes home pretty soon. Free Max B. And I was just up there calling myself wavy. Like anybody wants a piece of wavy. I just started breeding characters, because the CFL, that gives you your chance to live your dream out, really. They show love up there and they pay. You're not making millions like Odell and all those guys, but if you're playing well up there, you get a nice little bag. So I'm up there balling. We got 4 games left. I'm like 100-something yards away from my first 1,000-yard season, and my coach, Mark Trestman, who ended up coaching with the Bears the next year, we knew he was going to the NFL. I was one of his guys. I'm like, I'm going back to the NFL, and I'm going to give it another go. Bucket tear meniscus, done for that rest of the season. I try and get up. I'm in Toronto, and that's when the Argonauts used to play at where the Blue Jays play in that Sky Dome. Yep. Try and get up, couldn't get up. I knew it. Took my helmet, threw it, and I said, that's where I lost love for the game. I ended up playing a couple years after that for the Czech, but that's when I'm sitting in a special teams meeting. I got leg up, cast up, couldn't do nothing, and that's when I started scribbling in this notepad that I have, and that's where the cultured athlete was really born. And I went to Coach Trestman. I went to him, and I'm like, look, Trest, I come in, I work out, I get my rehab. I can't do anything at practice. Can I enroll in Montreal School of Performing Arts and just skip practice and then just start taking theater classes? I didn't think he was going to say yeah. I thought he was like, no, we want your energy around the team. He said go, because they knew. I had this $300 little vlogging camera that I bought. Go up to my teammates in the locker room, interview them, or go on the away game, interview them, and all that. So, I moved out to LA that off season and started taking TV hosting classes. Created Jersey Off Suit On, which was a little web series I did up there because I was modeling up there. I was doing some stuff, and I only played football just to continue that access. Like I said, I was modeling. I've had one of my teammates is my camera guy. His hands shaking. That's like when you shoot something fire and you go back and look,
and you're like, oh man,
you didn't click on the audio. And you're like,
and take 2. Let's go.
That's when all that was born, man. And I haven't looked back since, honestly.
I think that's amazing. And I know you talk about cultured athlete, and I think like tapping into that and kind of your full trajectory, like everything kind of ladders into that no matter what stage that you're at. Tell us more about what that means to you and beyond the inspiration of your parents, but what that path is and the importance of that.
I've always been about the culture of sports. Carl Banks, former Giant legend, and he does Giants TV as well. He always says sports, the great uniter, a great unifier, in the sense. And the culture within sports. And I remember watching a show called Dhani Tackles the Globe.
Great Dhani Jones, yeah.
And he was going all over the world, trying different sports and just immersing himself in the culture. And that's exactly what I had an opportunity to do. Just think of my football career. And my rookie year, we went to London. We played in that first London game. And the year before, I was a senior at UMass. Some of my boys who were exchange students from London, when I got over there, Plax and them were going to all the places, the touristy places. My boys were taking me and like Steve Smith, Aaron Ross, and Ahmad Bradshaw came with us. We took the tube and we were out at like places where I'm like,
the locals. You with the locals?
Oh, I'm with the locals, and you just learn how I'm like, talking to people like, oh yeah, I know Eli Manning, and they're like, oh. I know Wayne Rooney, I know Cristiano Ronaldo, and no knock to Eli, but that's the culture over there.
Yeah, for sure.
So then you fast forward that to being able to play in Canada and living in Montreal. When I lived in Montreal, I was up there for 5 seasons. There was one time I was at a place called I lived in a park called Le Plateau, and that's all French. So I would go into the marketplaces and I would have to I was les oignons, like have to ask for the onions and
That's
all
a parler
that.
français.
And it's like you get into these cultures of the sport, and that's what I was all about, the entertainment aspect of it. And you can see, like, I kind of created all that before the complex sports and all that. Yep. I just didn't have that. Everybody's like, you're playing the CFL, who cares? You didn't have that access to that A-list celebrity to come on and do the interview to get the retweets and all that stuff. So it's like, I'm not knocking on anybody or anything like that, but between the culture of sports and everything that I've done, modeling, TV shows, fashion shows, I shot for academics and I did BET, ripped the runway and all that. No one knew who I was, a practice squad guy, So it's just one of those things. I've been able to live this life through sports, through being here in New York, Miami, Montreal, LA. I've gotten the best of these worlds, and it's like now I do TV. Now I do the Chelsea podcast for Chelsea FC, the official Chelsea FC podcast here in America. It's like different doors just keep opening up, and I'm like, you know what? Step right in and allow me to reintroduce myself.
Shouts to Chelsea.
Yeah,
top of the table in English Premier League. Well, listen,
America.
What's so interesting is that you realize, Brandon, as you travel the world, like football is a uniquely American thing, like the NFL. Like people in the rest of the world don't know and don't give a shit about football, like that football. They just don't. To your point, you want to talk Wayne Rooney, CR7, Mbappe, and like, oh yeah, we'll do that. We can talk about that football. They'll even talk about basketball before they talk about, they're like, but American football? They're like, nah, we don't even know what that is. But for you to be able to branch out into all these other avenues through football, I think is wonderful, because I think so many times I feel like so many athletes, Brandon, whether they're, superstars or middle of the road or whatever, when their career ends, they don't know how to do anything outside of football. Right? It's like, this is it. And they have to stay attached to the game, which is great in some ways, but also like, well, what if there's no job for you here? What are you going to do? Right? What if there's no opportunities? Like what? And so talk about like finding interest beyond football, because for you were lucky with your mom. You had a love for performing and acting very early, and that was huge for you. The importance of finding that passion and marrying them with other passions that you have.
That time, remember I told you when I blew out my knee there, and I'm sitting there, you're thinking, well, I ain't making money like Tom Brady. I'm going to have another job, and I am not the 9-to-5 type. Growing up, you ask my dad, I would come home, Dad, I got laid off from McDonald's. Dad, I got laid off from Food Line. He's like, yo, you just started working there. Like, bro, like it's not for me. Like, right. I am a passion guy.
Yeah.
When it came to academia, I would do just enough to get by. And people are like, yo, your dad's a recruiting coordinator. How do you have a 1.9 right now? And I'm not trying to say, oh, that was cool or anything. Right. But when I go to these schools and I talk to these kids, if you're a passion person, you better be ready to get your hands dirty and really grind it out, especially in the two businesses that I've chose as a profession, professional football and TV. Mm-hmm. It's a grind it out business. So like I was, talking to one of my friends today, and, he's getting a little upset with his journey. He's like, oh, maybe I should go back to doing this. And I'm like, yo, as your friend, I want to kick you in the butt, but as somebody who's trying to get to that top, I say thank you, because we always, a lot of people in these businesses hit that plateau, hit that part of the journey where it's like, wait, I've already done this and I still have to do all of that, and they back out. So the ones of us that's like, all right, let me drop some of this dead weight, drop some of this gear, let me get my little spiky things out and start climbing. We like cool, we'll check y'all out, we'll peace sign to y'all, because it's like now the road isn't as crowded anymore. And I'm one of those cats. It's like I wasn't Odell, I wasn't no star like that, but I'm ready to grind it out with longevity with anybody to reach the top of my mountain. And that's just one of those things, man. And it's like, I tell that to kids when I go to these inner city schools, and I talk to these kids. And I know some of the parents, when I'm like, yo, I don't know, I'm not here to talk about get your degree or nothing like that. And so you see some teachers' faces frown up. But then when they see the message, when I'm like, if you're not going to get that piece of paper, and you're going to go in the arts world, or you're going to go entrepreneurship. Be ready to work 90 hours instead of that 40 hours.
I was going to say, I think there's so much to unpack here, and I like that. I think, to me, the two biggest takeaways are the similarities between your crafts, right? Between the work that it goes into to being a football player and the work that goes into being on TV and doing what you do. That I think people see the success and they don't realize how much goes into that in the day in and day out. Like, even if it's the shaky camera, getting those first reps in, getting that out of the way and building. And then I think, you talk about the 9 to 5. You might not be a 9 to 5 person, but you're like a 9 to maybe 5 a.m. person because you're grinding all the time. So talk about a little bit more about that work ethic that goes in across football, whether it's something you love, TV, modeling, all that good stuff.
Well, my friends, they kind of, we all got our insecurities in these games. And my friends hate me sometimes because it's like, yo, why didn't you post the shaky camera? Why didn't you? They think that I should have charted the journey a lot more. They're like, yo, we're so sure, and we're invested so much in this journey. Why didn't you show that failure? Why didn't you? We all get so caught up in wanting to post just the successes. And it's like, for me, having friends like Victor Cruz's and the Andrew Hawkins and all those guys, it's like, at this level, I can't show people a failure, So I get caught up in my own little head sometimes. But, it's one of those things where it's like, that's my brand, Like, you're the guy who you didn't have that illustrious. You're the grinder. You're the grinder. Somebody out there is going to resonate with you more than they do with other people, because they're like, man, this dude. I remember when this dude. And he's there now. You Brett Belon, you doing this? You doing soccer? You never playing no soccer. You know what I'm saying? That's the best feeling in the world when you hear stuff like that. And then especially when it comes to this journey, I tell people all the time when you equate the football grind to the TV grind and having to have that mentality, that Mamba mentality. You ask anybody back in the day, I couldn't read teleprompter to save my life. I remember being on, because when I retired in 2015, it was for this show called Hollywood Today Live, nationally syndicated show. It was 2 days. I had a day left before I was going to training camp. 2015, I was going to training camp. I lived down Union City, right off 30th and Bergen Line Ave. And you can see on my Instagram, go back to 2015, I took a picture and it was captioned, the Great Migration. It's before we all go north to go to Canada. I get a call from this producer like, yo, we saw your reel, and my reel was consisted of all my web series stuff on page 11 on YouTube we think we love your energy. It's more my look. Come on. We want to fly you out to LA to test for the network. So I'm like, and my manager at the time was like, yo, this is legit. Like, you're going to go. So I called, my team and was like, I got a death in the family. I got to stay for a couple of days. So they flew me out there and they put me on set with all these polished people. And it was my turn to read teleprompter. And I'm sitting there in the back of my head like, can you read? You are horrible right now. And they flew me back because they were like, oh, you're green. I was there for a week, and they told my manager that I was back in Canada for a week, and they told my manager, like, we'll sign him to a developmental deal. We'll have him here for 5 weeks, and if he's ready by the time we air, then we'll sign him to a full contract. If not, I'm like, yeah, I go. We just had a 2-a-day. We just had 2 practices. The last practice, I just started crying because my body was like, it's over. And I went to my coaches. My coach was like, yo, you just had 14 catches in 2 practices, bro. You're a starter. Like, what do you mean you're retiring? Went to my teammates, same thing. I knew I wanted to try. Mm-hmm. So when I went out there, they were trying to get me ready, and I was just so green, sitting there, someone's in your ear talking to you while you're trying to read, and then they're talking to you, and you're having to do this. There was one point where I was just like, yo, everybody shut up. Yo, I'm trying to oh, that's a D. You know what I'm saying? I just had a moment. So they dropped me 2 days before they were going to go live because one of the producers was still fighting for me. They're like, he just needs time. He needs time. So I called my mom, crying, yo. Like I'm just upset. My mom's like, here's what you're gonna do. So I'm gonna give you 1 minute. You can cry, you can curse, you can do whatever you want. After that minute, I'm gonna stop you, and then we're gonna figure this out. Because there's, you ain't going back to Canada, boy. So I'm cussing like that Kevin Hart joint. He's cussing, like he's cussing and all that. And she stops me and she's like, all right, what are you going to do? So I've been training high school kids and stuff around North Jersey. So I got all these like workout jobs and stuff. And there's a day where I go in, this lady comes up to me and she's like, you got this great energy. I heard you said you're kind of like TV host, former football player. She's like, I've got a friend, Babette Perry. She's the head of Innovative Artist Broadcast. Send me a reel. If she likes you, you take, maybe she'll take a meeting. So I sent the lady, you hear that all the time. Sent it to her. And this is after like a year and a half of living out in LA, doing the workout jobs and, little commercials here and all that. And I was sleeping on my boy's couch. But so 2 weeks later, I get the email, Babette would like to take the meeting with you. So I go into Innovative. I was ready to be Kanye out there jumping on the table like Bobby Shmurda. I'm like, I need to get signed. I'm like, I need to get this deal. So I didn't hear from Babette for like a month after, but she called me. I was working at Plate Fit right by Kings Road Cafe, right there in LA. And I had a class going. And I get the call. I'm like, I don't know this 818 number. I need to take this. So I get the little assistant to run the class, and she's like, Don Sperling of New York Giants TV remembers you from your time with the Giants, would like to bring you in for an audition. Now, I've been taking class. That's why I was sleeping on my boy's couch, because I didn't want to pay like a full LA rent, because I was doubling up on on-camera classes for a year, like for a year, living in Van Nuys, all Studio City, just taking these classes with Marquis Costello, getting ready. I flew into the Giants facility and just nailed prompter. Just nailed, you just boom, back. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And a month later, moved back here doing Giants TV. I've done nationally syndicated TV shows, and I'm here where I'm at now. So I'm at the point now where I'm like, the mountain's even higher now. But I'm ready to climb. I'm like, peace, y'all. I gotta go. Let me get my and let me get up this mountain. It's just been a blessing. Sorry to talk so much.
Nah, man. But that energy is why you are getting where you are and doing what you're doing. All right. So we know the TV side. We know all that. I mean, we are a sneaker podcast after all, Brandon. So talk to me about sneakers, man. As a football player, you wore a lot of cleats, that kind of thing. But what were the brands that you liked, and what kind of kicks were you rocking when you were on and off the field?
Well, back in the day, we had those little standard Reebok and Nike deals with the NFL. You couldn't really wear funky cleats like that. Now these guys, they put all types of work. It's not fair. You're 37? You don't look 37. Them cleats I was wearing back in the day with Miami Dolphins, it looked like I was 37. So, it was all basic. My attire on the field was pretty much basic. Off the field, modeling, being able to be in New York, I never had that eye. My sister Kristen, she's got that eye where, she's very eclectic with her style. And I'm like, girl, you got that from a thrift store? Damn. So, I'm like, my style in your everyday clothing and all, I'm really basic. But when I put on suits and stuff, that's when, Bruce Wayne turns to Batman. But so now it's like, I just moved back out here from Denver. I don't have all my stuff. A lot of my stuff is just basic stuff right now, but things that I don't like for sure is like them big high heel shoes everybody wearing. I'm not. If you're a 5'5" male, you shouldn't be wearing shoes that are making 5'9".
I mean, I don't like to wear those as a female, so I'm right there with you. I feel you.
Yeah, it's the styles have changed so much. Like the big shell toes and stuff. I'm like, this is. Forget Instagram filters. People are doing real life shoe filters now, and it just boggles me now. But to each their own. One thing I've learned about art, and one thing I've learned about just being around different places throughout the world and stuff, it's like you really do pick up on little things like, oh, this is dope. Like I was in the souk in Morocco, in Marrakesh, Morocco in March. And I picked up this leather bag because I'm like, I gotta bring that home. Like that's dope, you know. So there's just different things. But my style, man, I'm very basic with my streetwear, like my everyday wear. But you know, I've got a nice deal with Grover Bespoke when it comes to like my suited, you know, custom tailored.
Oh, look at you! All right,
fancy.
I'm a suit guy. I'm a suit guy. Something about them suits just make you feel.
Well, I can appreciate that because I do like a good suit myself. Big fan of the bespoke suit game. May have to check out a good old Grover. Maybe I'll drop your name. Be like, by the way, Brandon London, help.
Yeah, help. That's the discount code, Jarod. Help.
Exactly.
Have to use your discount code, Cultured Athlete. You know. But soon we'll be launching a collaboration and all pretty soon. I just need to get back here, get settled. Like I said, that new gig's coming up. A lot of things going on. So it's like right now I'm kind of just being under. You know how you kind of go underground.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Things are I'm about to be like stupid.
That incubation,
and all
right.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pop off. I got you.
Yeah.
All right, folks, stay tuned because coming up next, even though Brandon says he's basic, he got to have some sneakers around the house somewhere. So he's going to show us some stuff in America's favorite segment, Shoe and Tell, presented by Another Lane. Don't go away. What's good, y'all? We are back, and you know what time it is. America's favorite segment, Shoe and Tell, presented by AnotherLane.com. Listen, Chad Jones, who of course is the co-founder along with his lovely wife Adina, was out on Twitter the other day, and he had a great video they put up about the sort of negative stereotype around all black sneakers. And I encourage you guys to check that out, look it up. Right, it's like it's really interesting. And again, Chad's a PhD level educator when it comes to kicks. Like, you want to know anything, that is the man to go talk to. It's Sneaker Galactus, and head over to AnotherLane.com. All right, Brandon, it is your show, Shoe and Tell. Show us what you got.
Ooh, okay. I'm about to get White Claw basic on y'all. So
you said White Claw.
There's no laws when you're drinking White Claws, Brandon. Okay.
At least these are mango. Here, at least I got some mango flavor here. All right. So in terms of every day, if you see my Instagram, you've probably seen these Converse All Stars. No, I really love. Like I said, I'm basic when it comes to shoes, and as the best part about it, the heel doesn't start here. The heels are really basic heels, ladies and gentlemen. Super basic. But when it comes to, I've probably only worn these. I've had these for about 10 years. I've only worn them 5 times. Clark's Wallabies. I
got you.
They've been fresh. I love them since college. Maybe I got something to wear them out. Free 99. I got these. This, I forget what company it was.
You said free 99.
Yeah, they sent it to me. I went to their event in the city. You know that church over by Bounce?
Mm-hmm.
But it's an event space.
Yeah, Limelight.
They had an event there one time, and they're like, "Oh, what's your size? We'll send these to you." You know, these kind of like the Huckleberry thin joints, but you know, with a nice pair of jeans. You know, they flab out. They make me look a little grungy. You know.
So Brandon, when you're running around the field at Giants camp at the practice facility, Quest Diagnostics, and you're talking to players and you're doing whatever interviewing, the Converse, right? That's like that helps you kind of.
They're the Converse. But then when I do Giants post game live after, then I'll wear the Kohans, the dress shoes. Or even I'm an ankle guy, you know.
Okay, you got to show some ankle.
Show off them ankles, you know.
I'm a coconut oil all over the body, especially them ankles type guy. So you know, you put the lotion on, and I can't wait to get back to going to the events and all, and the red carpets in the city and all, because people now that they've seen me on your podcast, when they come up, be like, "Yo, cocoa butter on the ankles."
That's right. Let's go.
And then these you gotta have.
I like the toe on those.
I like them. Yep.
And have the little black tip on them as well. Who was it that sent me these? It's a company called La Milano. It's an Italian design. And they sent me these. You can what is it? You can smell the leather.
You can smell the Italian leather.
I've only worn these twice. I've had them since 2016. I've only worn these twice.
Okay.
I want to get them. I want to get them polished. But that's, I brought these. I brought all this stuff. That's pretty much like the coolest stuff I have here, in the sense that, I got some Kohans and stuff, but I don't wear like crazy kicks and sneakers and stuff like that. And even, I'm gonna be 100. I'm a bargain shopper when it comes to. So I wore these the other day. Let me grab.
I mean, we talk about this a lot. You know what I mean? Like, not the way that sneakers are rising in price, the way that kicks have gone up. Like, someone who's a true sneakerhead or a bargain shopper, like, can walk into any store and find something they like. So, like, that's the best kind of stuff.
Something like these. I mean, y'all are sneakerheads. So how much do you think like something like these would go for?
What is this, an Adidas Boost? Ultra Boost?
I mean, it looks like it could be a. Well, I'll let him explain.
Somebody the other day at the Giants game was like, "Man, you got some Yeezys on." I'm like, "Man, these some Feezies, right?"
I was gonna say they look like Adidas Boost, but they're not.
These are ponies, and I got these at Burlington.
Well, Burlington Coat Factory
for $24. For 24, and it's like,
I respect a good deal.
Here's the thing, and like one of my boys tried to clown, like it's your homeboys, it's harmless. He was clowning me in the group text. I'm like, yo, I got a $3,500 suit on, bespoke, but suit on. I can wear whatever I want. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about? So it's just, honestly, man, it's just one of those things where, like I said, like, I never want to, I'm obviously, I make good money and all that stuff. I can buy different things and all that, but I never want to be that person to where when I walk around and just the label try, like, I'm like, oh, what do you mean? This is that, or this is, such like that. I want to be one of those people where it's like, yo, those are dope, man. Like, those must have been expensive. And then just deep down inside, you're like, the way I'm rocking it, yeah, they are expensive. But you know what I'm saying? Just in that, I got expensive stuff and all, but I never wanted to like attach myself or like be a slave of the label in that sense. It's kind of like football where they say the man makes the jersey number doesn't make the man. It's the same thing, I feel like, when it comes to style.
I appreciate that, man.
We got to introduce you to our guy, Ben. I feel like Ben would appreciate this a lot. And I think, the mix of the fit, right? That's what it's about. Is that you don't really know, and then that's what gets people talking. That's what we love about kicks, right? I'm the opposite, where I'm like, let me put on some bike shorts with some fancy sneakers that probably cost more than a whole outfit. But I respect that vibe.
Which is okay. Which is okay, But you know, like that you can do that. You can wear the little biker shorts and all, because you like, if someone has a problem with it, like, yo, like, what do you mean these shoes are your car note? Like,
but that's it. We are about celebrating what makes you you, and whatever floats your boat, as Outkast says, or find your lost remote.
Lost remote.
All right, Brandon, this is a pleasure, man. Tell the people where they can find you and keep track of all your goings-ons.
At Brandon London TV on all social media stuff. I'm trying to get my TikTok game up, so go give your boy a follow on the TikTok.
Okay.
TikTok.
BrandonLondon.com, and then this next announcement, a lot of people following the journey and all, like, I don't do it for myself. There's a lot of people, that I'm trying to bring up with me. I love Kevin Hart, because if you look at his team, it's a lot of his homeboys and a lot of the comedians that he's come up with. And, who knows how big I take this thing, but I can tell you, I ain't going to be alone at the top, or whatever the top of my mountain is. There's going to be a lot of people who've helped me along the way and all. So, whatever support people want to give me, likes, follows, all that good stuff, I really appreciate it. Collaborations I'm down for as well, because I look great in this.
and we appreciate having you on. And folks, you know where to find us. We are on all social media platforms at Kicks and Shit Show. We are part of the Count the Dings family on that Bomb podcast feed. So you find us with the original Bomb show. You find us with rap names growing up the same. And of course, us, the Kicks and Shit Show. And until next time, peace.
Peace.